Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Reaching Riches here. Trying something new, recording this one just on my phone. So just want to talk to you guys about my personal loan that I use for debt consolidation. I did make my first payment to it. And then I made my first additional payment to it from my dividends. So I'm going to show you guys that here in a bit. Alright, so here's my SoFi loan. It's now sitting at $48,188. So if I go down here, you guys can see the payments that were made. So this very first payment here, that $233 payment, that was just a test payment to see how all the payment options worked, whether it's going to count toward the monthly or how that was going to work. And I kind of went over that on my last video. Alright, so here you can see November 11th, 2024. This was my first auto payment that was pulled out. It was that scheduled $1,075 that was pulled out, and it dropped my principal balance to $49,146. So that's good. And then I made a $1,000 payment from my dividends to my SoFi account here, and that dropped it down to another $48,160. You can see the breakdown here. My scheduled payment was $730 principal and $345 of interest, and then this dividend payment of $1,000 was it was almost entirely all principal, which was great. So it was $985 of principal and then $14 of interest. So that was awesome. Some things to note here if you guys are gonna do the same thing or gonna use a SoFi loan. Some things to note. So my monthly payment is on every month on the 11th. And is it going to show here? Yeah. So this January 11th. So I made my November payment like a few days ago. And I was expecting to see a December payment. But what I think happened, even though they say it's going to pull out every month. But what happened was, I think that additional payment, they took it as payment toward December. So they, for whatever reason, pushed it out. When I called them to clarify what happened, the guy on the other side, he didn't really know why it happened. He hasn't seen that before, but I'm not going to complain if they're not going to pay out any, or they're not going to pull out anything on December. But I likely will, well, maybe, I'll see. But I'll go over that in a bit. But I might, I might make a payment in December. And then also my payment due. So my payment due is supposed to be $1,076, just like you saw here on the 11th. If you round up 1,076. But you see this payment due here is $1,151. So I was like, well, why did that go up? Like, is that going to be my new payment now? Is that my new monthly? So I asked him that, and then he said it's because the monthly payment is $1,075, and since I only paid $1,000 with that additional, what was left over was $75. So if you add $75 to the original $1,075, you get $151. So so that's what happened there. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, that cleared that up. I thought $151 was going to be my new payment, which had me a little concerned, because like, oh, if I keep putting money toward this, is it going to keep raising my monthly? But no, so that cleared that up. So that's awesome. Let me get into what might, or what is likely gonna throw a wrench in my debt repayment plan, because I had originally scheduled it to be, let me move out of here. I had it originally scheduled to do 1076 a month plus a $1,000 or whatever I had in dividends. That's gonna change a bit. I think I'm just gonna do a flat 1,000 from dividends, and then whatever I have left over will stay in my portfolio to either grow it or to lower the margin. Because it really hurting me that I can't reinvest anything. But another thing that's gonna kind of throw a wrench in this is if you guys had watched my first one, we just had a baby, and my wife, she talked to her employer before she went on her leave, and they were like, oh yeah, you have enough PTO to cover the entire leave, so she'll go back to work in January. And they said she had enough PTO, but come to find she doesn't have enough PTO, so her actual paid time off is actually going to only last until like the end of this week. So she's likely not going to get, or I think she had already ended, like, so she's not going to get another paycheck until she starts working. So that's really gonna throw a wrench in this whole thing. So so that means I'm going to be covering all the bills, like everything, all the way up until probably mid-January is when she'll get her first paycheck, because she goes back in January, and then she needs to work 2 weeks before she can get a paycheck. So no income from her for another 2 months. So that's gonna be rough. We already had set aside money for a 1076 payment for December. And if they're not going to pull something out, I'm just going to leave it to the side. If for whatever reason things get tight, I will use that 1076 to use for bills and other expenses. And then also, if it gets really bad, then I will use some dividends to pay for some of these expenses. But yeah, so that's what's really going to be what's coming up like in December and January. So I mean, I'll keep you guys updated on how this goes. Whether I use the money that was supposed to go to the loan to pay for expenses, but I mean, I don't plan on even really celebrating any holidays. I know it's coming up, like Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, all that. We're probably just gonna stay in for all of that. If anything, maybe a potluck. But I mean, probably no Christmas gifts this year. I know it's gonna suck, but you gotta do what you have to do. All right, so that's it with the quick update. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. If you want to see me document this more, let me know down below. Yeah, I just want to use income funds as income, right? That's what they're meant for, to help you with whatever you need. In my case, it's debt repayment. All right, that's all I had. Catch y'all in the next one.